Scandinavian Bob here, hi. So which is worse, having a 6-hour video game session versus a 6-hour fapping session to porn, and especially if you do them repeatedly? Well, just for fun, I had ChatGPT to go through 6 serious studies on both video games and using adult sites. And I then had it to make a table comparing the two head to head. And this is what it gave me. Dopamine spike. And fapping to adult sites is the left column here. Excessive sharp spikes with extreme novelty seeking. Video games, high but more consistent, tied to objectives and rewards. Dopamine D2 receptor impact. Adult sites, severe downregulation leading to significant desensitization. Video games, mild to moderate desensitization with prolonged play. Reward cycle. Adult sites, disrupts the natural reward system, fostering compulsive behavior. Video games, encourages goal-oriented progression and achievement. Neuroplastic changes in the brain. Adult sites, rewires the brain for instant gratification, weakening self-regulation. Video games can enhance cognitive abilities, strategic thinking, and problem solving. Impact on motivation. Adult sites, drastically reduces motivation, leading to apathy and disconnection from real-life goals. Video games can improve focus, persistence, and a sense of accomplishment. Social interactions. Adult sites, isolating, erodes meaningful interpersonal relationships. Video games can foster social bonds, teamwork, and communication skills in multiplayer games. Stress levels. Adult sites, increases guilt, shame, and emotional distress. Video games, stress may rise in high-intensity games, but positive stress can lead to satisfaction in overcoming challenges. Recovery time. Adult sites, extended recovery time, weeks to months to restore normal dopamine sensitivity. Video games, minimal recovery time unless gaming becomes excessive or addictive. Impact on mental health. Adult sites, increases risk of depression, anxiety, and emotional instability. Video games may promote mental resistance, but excessive gaming can lead to escapism and neglect of responsibilities. Overall harm. Adult sites, profoundly detrimental, undermines mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Video games, moderate to mild risk of desensitization or escapism, but also potential for cognitive growth and social bonding. And so there ends the table. And as you can see, according to this, video games are nowhere near as bad as online porn. It's almost not in the same universe. But I have to be honest with you guys, this time I did not personally go through all those studies and sources the AI robot used when creating this table, but having spent 13 years in the porn addiction community, I can with confidence say that this table looks pretty accurate to me. And then the ChatGPT also gives us a final verdict, and that one sounds like this. Fapping to adult sites for 6 hours a day is extremely harmful for your brain, mental health, and life goals. It wreaks havoc on the dopamine system, destroys motivation, and isolates you from meaningful relationships and accomplishments. Playing video games for 6 hours, while potentially leading to some dopamine desensitization, offers more balanced stimulation. It has the potential to foster cognitive growth, problem-solving abilities, and social interaction. However, excessive gaming can still have negative effects, especially if it becomes a form of escapism. Okay, so what do I personally think about this result? Well, I think it's pretty accurate, and it also reinforces my response I used to give when guys ask me about how much video games they can play. You see, in my emails, I have always answered that I personally would try to keep the playing under 2 to max 3 hours per day. Because even though it can have positive effects, like for example increased problem solving skills, it is still pretty stimulating for your brain. But if you stay under 2 to 3 hours per day, I think you're pretty safe. And perhaps occasionally maybe 4 hours is okay. But that is already starting to push it a bit in terms of stimulation for your brain. I would definitely not make it a 6-hour habit. And you already saw what ChatGPT said about that amount. That it's fully possible that 6 hours a day leads to at least some dopamine desensitization due to all that stimulation. Yeah, and I have heard the famous neuroscientist Professor Andrew Huberman recommend a 2-hour limit for social media use. You know, the aimless scrolling you do on Twitter and Facebook, for example. And while that's not the same as playing video games, it is still a bit related because of the constant small dopamine hits you get from both of those. So there again, it reinforces the advice I used to give that by all means go ahead and enjoy your video games. But if you're rebooting and trying to unhook from porn, your brain might be a bit more vulnerable. And in that case, I think it's all the more reason for you to keep it under 2 to 3 hours per day. And remember, if you are rebooting, when it comes to video games, do not play sex games or even regular games with heavy sexual content. No, during your reboot, you want to keep those artificial sexual scenes out of your sight and mind. And speaking of rebooting, if you're curious about how long your reboot might take based on your history and circumstances, well then you can check out my free PMO recovery time estimator, and you can find it by clicking on the screen right here or by using the link below. It's 100% free and it's easy to use. And okay guys, take a look at the video right here if you don't feel like doing anything at all on your reboot.